What is up, everyone? I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees, and in today's video, we're talking about where the Yankees kind of pivot without Luis Castillo on the market. As you guys know, the Seattle Mariners traded for Luis Castillo. They gave up four prospects. They gave three of their top five, one of them being their number one prospect. And it would have been like the Yankees giving up a Volpe, Dominguez, and like Pereira alongside another lower level guy for Castillo. And while I don't imagine that the Yankees would be held up over Pereira or a lower level guy, they would definitely be held up over Anthony Volpe. Volpe, of course, is the Yankees' best prospect. He's a top 10 prospect in baseball. He is one of the safest prospects in baseball due to a really good hit tool, low whiff rates, good plate discipline, great power. And I can understand why the Yankees weren't willing to move him for Luis Castillo. The Mariners were super aggressive. They were hyper aggressive. They needed this. They are a team that has gone 20 plus years out of playoff appearance. They need this. And the Yankees think they can do other things on this trade market to get an ace caliber starting pitcher. And we're going to talk about two of those options because I do agree with the idea that you can get an ace caliber pitcher without necessarily trading for Luis Castillo. And the first pitcher I think of is Frankie Montas, who kind of feels like the alternative to Luis Castillo most directly. Both of them had 1.5 years of control. Both of them are right-handed pitchers on struggling teams. Both of them are similar age. I think Montas is extremely comparable to Castillo, if not a little bit better. Montas since 2021 has a 6.1 F WAR, has a 3.30 ERA and a 3.37 FIP. Both of those marks, or all three of those marks, excuse me, are better than Luis Castillo since 2021. I think they're awfully similar. I know that Castillo's better ERA this year, but I do believe that in the long run, those two have very similar production. The strikeout to walk numbers, the ground ball numbers, they all kind of even themselves out between the two to favor that they are the same caliber of pitcher. If you think Montas is a top 20 pitcher, Castillo's a top 20 pitcher. If you think Castillo's a top 10 pitcher, I think it's a little much, but you'd have to put Montas in that same breath. Again, extremely similar. I'd imagine their price tag is similar. And this is where things get a little bit concerning because if the price tag for Castillo was a team's number one prospect, what is the price tag going to be for Frankie Montas? What are the Yankees going to have to give up for Frankie Montas? It's going to have to be a Volpe, or can they talk down from that price point? I guess that's kind of the difficult discussion here. Where we saw the Matt Olson trade in the offseason where the Yankees were very interested in Olson and they couldn't get him because, well, the Braves offered their top prospect, and the Yankees can't beat that because the only way they can beat that is with Volpe. And some teams are just able to give up their best prospect because their best prospect is as good as Volpe. Their best prospect is slightly better than guys like Peraza or Dominguez, but they aren't better than Volpe. And so it's hard for people to really expect that the Yankees are willing to give up Volpe for players that you shouldn't be giving up Volpe for. And so again, Montas gets a lot of strikeouts. He doesn't walk a lot of guys. Doesn't give up a lot of home runs. He's a prototypical, ace caliber pitcher, and he would immediately be one of the best number twos in baseball. But could you do a little bit better? That's really the question. Can there be a better price fit? Perhaps someone who's not going to cost as much on a trade market, but give you similar, if not better, value. This is where Carlos Rodon fits the Yankees so well. Carlos Rodon is third in F WAR since 2021. He's got a ridiculous amount of strikeouts. He strikes out over 12 batters per nine, walks under 3 batters per nine. His home run per nine rate is under one. He is absolutely remarkable. This is a guy who, if you get him, you're getting a top three pitcher in the American League if he were to come back to the American League. Obviously, he's a National League right now. He's just unbelievable, right? He's a top 10 pitcher in baseball. I don't think that Montas and Castillo are better pitchers than Rodon. Rodon's a lefty. Rodon throws gas. Rodon is just absolutely phenomenal. And while there are more injury risks with Rodon, he's been healthy all year. You can kind of trust that he can give you at least the next 2 to 3 months. If he doesn't pitch well next year, it doesn't really matter because he's a free agent at the end of the year. You don't have to extend him. You don't have to necessarily force yourself to give up a lot because again he's a rental, so you're not necessarily trading Volpe. The Giants are not getting the best prospect at anyone's farm. You may not even have to give up a Peraza. I would imagine that the guy you give up in this situation is a guy like Pereira, maybe Wells. One of those two guys kind of headline the package, and then you add depth elsewhere. The Giants do need catching, so Josh Burrow, Austin Wells are definitely options. Wells is definitely the better player, but you would look at Josh Burrow as like maybe the second or third piece in a trade. I think a great trade package would be Pereira, Bro, and Hayden Wesneski. That would definitely work. I think that would get you Carlos Rodon. Ultimately, can the Yankees give the Giants the type of prospects they need? Because obviously the Yankees can beat the price point for Carlos Rodon. That's definitely not out of the discussion here. That's definitely not the discussion here. But the Yankees need to be able to give them an enticing package with guys that the Giants really like. So again, if I'm the Yankees, going to go hyper aggressive for Carlos Rodon. I think that's the top guy in this market. I think the strikeouts, the low ERA, the low FIP, the great peripherals, the low, not walking so many guys while striking out a ton of guys, not giving up home runs. He's just the lead at everything, right? He's definitely he's that second Garrett Cole. If you wanted to look at, what do I want in my number two? It's a second Garrett Cole, and he is a second Garrett Cole from the left-handed side. So if people want to say Montas might be better, I mean, I don't agree necessarily. I'm not going to sit here and say I'd be mad if the Yankees got Montas, and that's another thing. The Yankees didn't get Castillo, but if they get Montas or Rodon, it's a great deadline. They got exactly what they needed. Ultimately, it comes down to can they pony up for Rodon, or will the A's not ask for Volpe for Montas? That's really it, right? Can you get Montas without giving up Volpe? Because if you can do that, the Yankees will probably make that deal. But if you can't, then the Yankees are going to have to look for Rodon. I think their priority should be Rodon. I think that should 100% be what their number one target is. I think he's just more affordable in terms of prospects. I think he's just a better pitcher also, and I want the better pitcher. So again, let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Rodon, Montas. Maybe there's another guy you guys thinking of. Maybe you guys just don't even think the Yankees need a pitcher, which I think most people would disagree with. But I would love to hear your thoughts. Right? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You guys know to check us out on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all in the same handle of Fireside Yankees. And of course, check out Empire Sports Media for our New York sports content. I'm Ryan Garcia. You guys can follow me at Ryan Garcia ESM on Twitter, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Ryan out.